Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we've just wrapped up a little lesson with Mikey, talking about some of his swing issues.
Yeah.
I'm going to be selfish now, we're going to talk about some of mine. You know, I post about it on Instagram all the time. I always call this thing the glue to my golf swing. I struggle with some things around my sort of trail arm and how to get that to fold and kind of stay, in external rotation as we get down. Like I see so many other people do, and you do as well. We see these on the range on PGA Tour every single week. Talk to me a little bit about how did this come about and sort of how has it evolved?
I'd be lying if I said I was the originator of putting something between your arms.
Sure.
Because I don't know, whoever the first pro was back a million years ago that did it, thank you. So the more you manage, if the elbows are separating, you're creating complexity with the wrists.
Yep.
And so if we can sort of manage what the arms do a little bit, then our wrists behave a little. And then to your point, if this trail arm isn't retracting back behind us, now we have that steep issue. We've got to sort of fit in late, which makes us pretty unreliable hitters.
Totally.
So, there's been some products on the market that were, you could put in between forearms, and I think every coach had one or two, and students would buy them. My lazy self, I got tired of chasing it on the range. Oh, pardon me, excuse me, let me get that, and then. So that's the lanyard.
Let's get a little lanyard
right?
going.
And then I made it super light by making it inflatable.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about the inflatable element of it is you can place it at different parts.
Right.
So if you want to deflate it a little bit and have it a little bit lower down, great. Depending on what you want. If you want to introduce it, blow it up fully and just have it touching, that's a good introduction to it without feeling like you have to kind of really squeeze. But as you get better at it, you can.
Yeah.
Why don't we hit a couple with it? We can see what I'm up to, and
sure.
Let's use this, but also talk about some other technical
stuff. Sounds awesome.
Okay. So we're going to talk people through this who are seeing this device for the first time.
Right.
Okay. Never saw it before on the channel.
Yeah. So real quick, the simple thing we get started is somewhere between your wrists and elbows. We kind of hold it in here, and it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of this, people were taught by their Uncle Al or by a well-meaning 85, 90 shooter, what are they taught to keep their head down?
Yeah.
So their body stops rotating, their arms separate, their elbows come apart, they would drop the ball. So typically when we're getting newbies going with this, it's just little brush strokes, rotating to some kind of a semi follow through over mild finishing form on the lead side. And we have people warm up with this all the time. So you've got an 8-iron or 9-iron, right? So I click this on here, I'd say, okay, give me some little brushy strokes that only, flat ones that maybe go 45, 50 yards, and hold your finish. So I'll explain to you what I'm doing with students when they come see me in Phoenix. I would say even narrow up a little bit, Ian. So it's just a shorty. Good, and if he's like everybody, he's gonna hit it too far. So give me 45 yards. Okay, good. So I would just basically give you a bit more structure here. Make sure you're on top of your lead side. And notice what's cool, from the downline camera view, notice how his eyes aren't level. I can't tell you how many newbies try to level their eyes right away because everybody wants to have level eyes. In golf, if you get used to kind of feeling like everything's a little sideways and you play enough golf, you'll get sideways anyway. But it's a little water is going to drip out of your right ear, eyes are going to be in a little bit of a tilt. Get used to seeing the world in golf with a little bit of a tilt.
Yeah.
Okay, eyes are important in golf.
It's another one of those things. We just talked about it, in the lesson tee with Mike when we were reviewing our little sort of alignment device here. But people think the functionality of this is arms together. Well, you're talking there about some of the key fundamentals to making good, repeatable golf swings. Talking about a little bit of side bend, some of that, biomechanical stuff that we know we need to make good golf swings. So, sure, that's the functions to keep the arms together.
Glad you brought it up because people go, okay, it holds my arms together as they move perfectly into a semi-follow through.
Correct.
Because if they let it go, then they can't do the next pieces that really turn you into a pretty functional striker.
Right.
So that's the beautiful thing. People get better, don't even know why they're getting better. As long as they don't have the ability to stay there and do this kind of do-si-do with their arms separating.
And so many people right now, especially the higher handicapper range, we'll talk about that one, the kind of chicken wing and kind of the mismanagement, a low point, and just never really striking it solid.
Yeah, and there's a million reasons. I hate to say that why you could have a steep situation that results in a chicken wing, But if you really simplify it down to something as easy as getting that between your elbows, but just below your elbows, and start hitting short shots like Ian just demonstrated, you're going to sort of figure things out nicely.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. And if you can do that and you're flexible enough to keep your head down a long time, good on you. This old man isn't. So it's like I watch the golf ball and then I just kind of watch it fly, and then, you know, you finish in some sort of style, whatever is your style. And you develop your speed as you kind of generate from 45 yards on up to whatever your max is.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think when I first started working with it, I struggled at full normal speed to kind of keep it in there. Now it's not a struggle. I've just had enough reps under my belt where that's no longer a struggle. So be patient with yourself. Don't give up on it. You know, just because it's flying out, it's supposed to. You're learning, and over time and through reps, you'll get very, very comfortable keeping it in position.
Dynamite, heat it up a bit. Let's see it. So he hit a 45-yarder, and we're just going to speed through. And I'd have a lot of people just hit short shots for a while. So give me 120.
Okay.
So a little on the
chunky.
Little thick, yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, for the viewers that watch the episode with Mike on it, I would say you're guilty a little bit of the same thing. The
Absolutely.
golf ball is a little forward.
Yeah.
Right? When it's forward, it's easier to catch it in the left-hand turn of the golf swing, because the golf swing is an inclined circle, so it's got this rotational shape to it. If we hit it earlier in the swing, it's going to start off a little bit more to the right. If we hit it later in the swing, you have if you hit it solid, you have a chance to pull it. The face is probably going to be pointed a little bit more left, so when you hit an 8-iron and you hit the outside part of the golf ball, you give it more ball speed, the ball flies farther, it misses usually, for the righty, misses to the left, and you're pretty much saying hello to a bogey or worse.
Definitely.
Because when you miss a green pin high left, it's a tricky up and down for the most part. If you kind of fan it short, it's a chip up the green. Typically greens, you know, when you look at them from the fairway, they're back to front. You're chipping up the green. It's a easier par save than the hot pull. So watch the ball location. Give me another one.
Okay.
Get it a bit more. George Knudson used to reference the male anatomy, but I'll just say just a little bit left to center.
Okay.
So that's more pleasing to me right there. Good. Good. Take a look to your left, kind of get acquainted with the target. So that's really Purina right there. So that was, you know, that's a tick left, but highly functional.
Yep.
You see my point?
Much better in strike, felt way more club on ball.
And so even as skilled as Ian is as a golfer, people say, oh, Martin, do you work with tour players? And I go, I don't travel the tour, but some come to see me. And the lessons are so easy with those guys and gals, because it's usually just a mild tweak and setup, posture, ball location. Sometimes you help them visit a swing thought from the past that was their, like, oh, I played great with that thought. And they forget it. Even the best players, they go, oh, that's it.
100%.
I used to feel, okay, good. Now they're off to the races for a few weeks with a great thought, like we all are. We're the same way.
Totally.
You know, so a little ball location change. So let's add a bit more speed to it. That was great. And I'll make one comment about your swing here in a second. But give us one more. I mean, I love your swing. I just think it could be just a bit more dynamic, a bit more up-tempo. Okay, so a little bit of the outside of the golf ball there.
Yep.
Okay. So when you have that sort of hot pull, that's the one I'm talking about, right? Because it's got high ball speed, it's going to miss a little long left. Now you're like, oh man, that up and down's a little tricky. So think about how this thing expands. We have a golf swing and we're expanding that golf swing. You know, we develop our energy source by rotation.
Yep.
You know, we create some angles. We put some angles in our wrists. We create an angle in our trail elbow, trail wrist. And then how we transport this to where it flees out and gets back to the golf ball is the vital thing. And I'd say with you, you know, a little bit like, you know, Mo Norman used to say when I was a little kid, he'd say, I hit the golf ball with my trail shoulder. So he would just say right shoulder.
Yeah.
I hit the golf ball with my right shoulder.
Yeah.
So it was always, he had a feeling that his right shoulder got closer to the golf ball rather than any kind of motion where you can run out a right arm.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Totally.
So running out a right arm might present the face to the outside of the ball. You might get that crisp hit, but frustrating miss. Little left. You know, when you've got an 8-iron, you're hoping you're going to hit the green from a $160 or whatever you hit it. So, you know, this shoulder down, kind of trail arm a bit more bent, and incorporate the ball location that doesn't have the opportunity to start it as left.
Yeah.
Now, coaching you would be like, all right, you got good speed, man, but I don't see the. I'd like to see the speed come out of the ground a little bit better with you. You know, I see it almost a little too thoughtful early.
Yep.
Like I'd like to see you use the ground and a little bit more push to get the club slinging just a little bit
Just
more.
a little bit
Just
more.
a hair
that
more.
push.
You see what I'm saying?
This is the first time you've ever really seen me hit balls. So the people who watch the channel will go, well, Ian's been told that, you know, a bunch of times. That is absolutely on point. It gets very static, very thoughtful, you know, and then it kind of starts a little bit that way, not that sort of push motion when you get it from the lead side, you know, spiraling up.
And watching you swing it, it's like it's a pretty good golf swing. You know, it's got good speed to it. I just see it as just a hair, you know, almost like too much thinking going on right here.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, as we kind of settle into a shot, look at the target, waggle, feel happy, and there's a bit more speed out of the ground. You know, just a bit more speed out of the ground that helps us create a little bit more energy going back.
Going through the chain.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I know I'm jumping ahead, viewers, so sorry. I know I had him hitting some short shots with a smart ball. Now I'm turning into kind of golf coach because obviously he manages, with the smart ball, and he manages his trail arm really well.
Yeah.
And a good player has to say, okay, I've got 10 minutes to do this. I'm going to use my favorite training aid, whatever it is. If it's a smart ball, great. To say I'm going to, you know, learn how to go make my nice stretch factor in my backswing without this trail arm getting a little stuck.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I can obviously transport that being a bit more courageous, not afraid of missing right, because I don't think you will.
No,
You know?
definitely. Very rarely.
Yeah. So show me just a little happier feet, I like to call it.
Okay.
You know, a little
A
waggle.
little more movement.
Yeah.
And it's funny you should say happier feet. That was one of the key things that 2 winters ago I worked on getting quick. And I got, you know, way quicker. Driver speed up to about 125.
Wow.
And most of that was just being
Yeah, athletic.
moving. You know, never really stationary.
Sure.
And I've probably fallen back into old routines and habits.
You know, and there's, I would say that's fine when you're in your bay and you're whack. And I do the same in my garage or my studio work.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing golf, I'm not quite that amped up. I
Yeah.
play like, you know, I didn't grow up hitting it 9 miles. We weren't
Yeah.
trained that way.
No, it was the opposite almost,
know,
wasn't it?
it
You know,
was.
It was a little bit more about, you know, let's learn to hit it straight, then we'll get some distance out of it. It's the
Yeah,
opposite.
it is. And unfortunately now the speed does matter, and learning how to be more athletic, and I'd say take advantage of athleticism.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, to the student, when they come to the studio, and I wish I would have brought one of my training things, but it's tough to travel with all my gear. Have you seen the ball delivery tool I use, that reflex arc?
Yeah.
So this gizmo just spits golf balls at you, so I can set it, and I can have a guy set up over it, and for you it'd be comical, right? Because it would be between your legs. You know, you'd love it, right? So the funny thing is, you'd be like, "Damn, are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No, watch, click, click, click."
Yeah.
I'd hit it, I'd hit it fine,
Yeah.
and then I'd start just slow naturally. But whenever I take a newbie and I start them off on this thing, you would be blown away by the instant kind of automatic athleticism of hitting something moving rather than something stationary.
Yeah.
And then once they realize that this ball's going to present at this exact time.
I watch you doing that, and I'm like, how is he timing that?
It's not. I just know that I'm going to go and swoosh kind of to a finish,
Yeah.
and the ball is
Just
in the
right
middle
there
of the
when you
face
need it.
most of the time. And it's not me because I played golf. It's
Yeah.
like newbie ladies, man. Like I'm talking 70-year-old ladies that come
wild.
to the camp that
Yeah.
were drug along by their husband, and the poor lady looks like this. The poor lady's like, she's literally, like D to D to D, and where'd it go? Well, it didn't go very far,
Yeah.
right? And so then all of a sudden I've got this thing going, these balls, and then the lady's like, wow, and then she hits one,
Yeah.
and
She's
they're like, oh my God, that's
Holy-
the coolest thing,
I mean, guys, I'm appreciating this, and I hope you guys are as well, because these are all devices designed to simplify the golf swing and help you train more efficiently, more effectively. But it's not void of any lack of technical knowledge, or you can go as deep as anyone wants you to go on Golf Machine or any of the technicalities that you may see one channel favour, to talk about the technical things in a golf swing. But you're working with the average golfer.
Oh yeah.
Right? So you've got to find ways to take complicated things and simplify it.
Of course.
And that's what all these devices are. That's
Yeah.
what all these lessons are, designed to make things that we could go into the technical terms for it, but really dumb it down for people so that they get it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I just want them to have more fun playing golf, hit it out the middle of the face. If you hit it solid, score matters, but if you hit it solid all day, golf's fun.
It really,
you can
really
complain
is.
about your score,
Yeah.
but if you hit it solid,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there's a lot of reward.
You hit it around the neck all day or off the toe and you scrape in a good score, it's stressful and you're afraid.
I would rather the solid ball striking day that I didn't quite turn it into the number versus the day where I scratched it round.
I know, it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It's not what I enjoy about this game.
I know.
Okay, so why don't we take this off, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because this is the glue, and my swing generally holds together nicely. We see all those things. Let's hit a couple of it off,
okay,
and we'll kind of show it in its kind of natural habitat.
Yep, perfect. So setup looks nice, good. Now take a look, feel your feet. Let's start this out of the ground with your right leg a little more. Setup looks perfect. So a little skinny, but on the target. Okay, good. So does that seem really weird to you? Is that doable, or?
Yeah, it's very doable. Very, very doable. It's actually a bit of a relief to not have as many thoughts. My thought is rhythm. It's much more reactionary. It's way less tension building up as I stand there.
So Ian, do this for me. Start from here. So make your mind up. Like, see your picture. You're gonna hit a straight ball, maybe falls left.
Okay.
Okay. You've got 164 carry, 168 pin on a flusher.
Right.
Okay. So now these things you're taking into mind. Like, there's no real wind today to concern yourself with. So you've got to see it, hear it, feel it, and then go live it, right? So maybe you take a little half practice swing casual one, and you could have thoughts of, your arms being a bit more together, like you did some smart ball work. Now take
and
one
shoulder
down.
down.
Shoulder down, amen. A little bit of courage there, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more courage with the right shoulder.
Yeah.
So now stand on your target line for just one, right here, okay?
Yeah.
Now give me a, now what you do after that, you can't guarantee the result, right? Give me the best soft skills you have, walk in, golf ball just a bit better back, and get the feet going and hit it, man. That looks awesome. Okay, so that was murdered. Beautiful. So that was that's as good as the outcome can be.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your 164 carry, 168 when it's all done, right?
Right.
And so what he did was, and obviously he's got a lovely golf swing, he's worked hard to earn that, and I want you viewers to earn that too, and you can do it. There's great coaches all over the place. Have a relationship with one of them and develop your game. But what I loved about it was you put in a feel, you preview a good shot, what it looks like. You got to kind of imprint it because you want to go live it right away. You want that visual, that sound, and some of you are saying, well, Martin, what if I'm a newbie and I don't know what that is? Fake it. Picture it. You've been around a good player that flushes one out the face. You're like, ooh, that sounds good, right? So if you kind of put that in, and then it's a little cleansing breath, and athletically he walked in and hit the ball. So you saw, if you were to time that, okay, that was pretty much your tour average, 10 to 11 second from first step to ball touch.
Yeah.
Okay, slower guys, 13, 14 seconds. Oh, Matt Jones, oh my gosh, like 4 seconds, the quickest walk-in hit ever.
Yeah.
Crazy,
it's
right?
It's unreal.
It is.
It is.
But you can't guarantee you're going to hit a good shot, but you can athletically prepare yourself and make a commitment to trying to bring what you visualized to life, and you did that. That was awesome.
Totally. And one thing I always have to remind myself, and for golfers who are like me, very deliberate, you can see that you're not guaranteed to hit a better shot if you take more time.
Absolutely not.
And that to me always reminds me of that when I do speed it up and I stand up and execute the shot exactly as intended. There's no benefit to taking the extra time. It's not like I'm going to hit it any better.
No, totally. And I'd rather the imagery back here, like really making a good choice. Like, and the viewers, you've seen Alex Noren and Justin Rose and Tiger Woods and these guys that have these very bizarre looking primer feels that were relatable to a range session that they're trying to take to that moment. And then their swing when they actually have to pull the trigger doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And Tiger's crazy. Have you seen some of the ones Tiger does? Like,
yeah.
You know, he's so enamored with like keeping his butt back. He does this like massively extreme forward flex as he unwinds, and he obviously doesn't do that when he hits it, but it helps neutralize him. So he does it as a primer. He kind of flushes it with a breath, and then he walks and he executes. And with Tiger, the outcomes are usually pretty good, obviously, but they can be good or not. But as long as you handle the soft skills, man, you've done all you can.
I love that little nugget that you delivered with Mikey's session and this one, because it's so true. There's things that we can control and there's things that are harder to control. The soft skills, the setup, the foundation, the fundamentals that we're implementing, we can control that stuff.
Yes.
We've got no excuses on that stuff, guys. Bad alignment, bad ball position, we have enough tools. We've talked about that with the alignment aid here. We shouldn't really be allowing ourselves to be making those mistakes anymore.
Don't blow the soft skills. Like when you're going to go to the range and you're training this relationship of a golf ball, intermediate target, and you're training your eyes, and then your feet are always last, and then your waggle. The best players tend to be the best aimers. Now, the best aimers don't always aim where you want them to aim. They might aim left and they hit fades, or they aim right and they hit drives, but whatever. But they have a system that helps them get their swing to perform. And so when you have soft skill time, driving range time, and you can put down a T-square, and you can ensure that you are training your eyes so that when you get to the course, when you look up, that's right where you want to see that thing, and you want to see that ball come off that face and go through this little window in the sky that's playable.
Right.
You kind of develop that on the range before you do it on the course.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I mean, we start with these, obviously, with these, smart ball or whatever devices, and it evolves. These lessons evolve into things that hopefully you can relate to yourself, struggles that you have in your own game. And I know I've been in for my whole life, a lifetime struggle with right arm. That thing is really giving me some hope that I can sort of get that right arm to get in external and then keep it there as I come down, rather than throwing it out there and steeping in the shaft, shutting the face.
Courage, man. I know.
A little bit of courage. You're right. I think that is the one thing that people need a little bit more of on the golf course, is a little bit courage to try it.
Yeah, and courage doesn't mean try to carry a 300-yard lake. It just means don't, a club, and I'll give you this thought, sorry I'm jumping in here, but there's a target line. And golf is a very side-on game, so we stand over here, and if I put the golf balls, it made it very vivid for the student. So here's an extension of a target line. Well, a lot of golfers, they try to go to the target line right away.
Yep.
And as we know, there's a steep, and then you got to do something to make it work. So for you to be more courageous, this shoulder's down lower. This club is not on the target line yet, is it?
Yeah.
It gets on the target line a little later.
Yeah.
And that's some of the courage I'm referring to, and it's tough.
Totally.
As a new golfer, people want to get that club on that target line quick.
Yeah.
And it's tricky. Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is going to be a multi-part series. We're going to get into some of these things, some of the fixes, the swing fixes that we know you guys are struggling with out there. Martin does these lessons and clinics on his tee at his home club in Arizona every single day. So these are all lessons that we know are going to help a ton of people watching.
Can't wait to help you guys. It'll be awesome.
Love it, brother.
Thank you, pal.
Guys, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.